So hello and namaskar. This is Shilpa from shiksha.com, the moderator for this session. Well, since our childhood, we all used to point at a flying airplane and wondered, how it feels to explore the skies from there. So if you have always been inclined towards a career in which you can have this experience, that aviation is the industry that you must explore. Today's session will guide you on what a career in aviation entails and the varied pathways and the perks it has on offer, and the journey you need to take to establish yourself in this field. So if you have any questions related to our today's topic of discussion, feel free to post either in the comment section or in the Q&A box, and I will try my level best to get it all answered by our today's expert. With this, let's welcome our expert for this session, Captain Ankur. You are currently B787 Dreamliner pilot. I heartily welcome you, Captain.
Thank you so much, Shilpa. I'm really happy for you to get me here. And it'll be a pleasure for me to answer the questions and advise whosoever joins here. And maybe I'll be able to help them in a much better way to get into aviation and decide about what they exactly want and how to go for it.
Glad to have you, Captain Ankur. And so let's
Same
begin
here.
the session by asking you some of the questions the students have. And let's begin with Jitesh Kumar and Harendra Singh have asked, how did your journey start in this field? Tell us about the success rates too.
Okay, Jitendra and Harendra, I guess, right? Okay, so this is a pretty interesting story how I started my career into aviation. So I come from a city in UP, that's Jhansi, and I had somebody in my society who had done flying in Indian Coast Guards. So Indian Coast Guard is a branch from the Indian Navy, wherein they fly small aircrafts like microlights and some choppers also, and these aircrafts are there. And so there was somebody in my society who was working for Indian Coast Guards and he used to fly them. So I was pretty fascinated by this person, and I met him when I was in class 10. And then after that I like explored on the options, how could we do that. So my parents, basically I'm the very first person from my family who's got into aviation, and I've seen from the very scratch how to reach a place where you want to be. So you can basically say that I've seen the grounds, I've seen the zameen. And after finishing my school, I straight away went to a flying school where we can start off, and did my medicals, did my flying. So basically, it's an entire thing wherein you have to compile a whole sort of study, flying part, medical part, and then you get a license by the DGCA, and then you become eligible to fly as a commercial pilot. And I started my journey into aviation in 2007. I finished my license in 2011, I believe, and then I started various jobs and then came into flying. Presently, I'm flying a Boeing 787. That's what, like how Shilpa mentioned. So that's a Dreamliner, and I fly for Air India. Mostly, like 787 is a long haul aircraft. We fly for all the international sectors. It's a mix of international and domestic, but mostly internationals. So yeah, that's what about me. And the career options are pretty good. You want to explore as a pilot, or maybe an air hostess, or maybe a steward, or there are engineers also, and there are various other profiles which are on ground and which are in the air also. So it's pretty interesting. It takes you across the globe, gives you exposure of various cultures, various traditions, and of course various food if you are fond of it. Yeah.
So from your journey, Captain Ankur, certainly will get a lot of information because you have started your journey from the scratch, as you said. And I hope it will help many students to build up their career in this field particularly. And with this, next up, Mobin has a query and he wants to ask you, is aviation a good career and why should I opt for it?
See, every career, like you're talking about aviation. So aviation is a big word. Mobin, you said, right? Mobin. So this is a very big industry wherein, like I said, you may be a pilot, you may be a cabin crew, or you may be the ground engineer, or you may have any duty at the station. There are ticketing staff, there are customer service staff, there are ground handling agents, there are ramp service agents, and there are loaders, and many more people. So it is an industry wherein you have different type of job roles which conclude and which bring all the parties together to run an airline, to run the show, to run the team. So the teamwork works for it. So it is basically on you to decide what you want to be, first thing first. Then what is the career path to it? Everything that you do has a career graph. If you like, I'll basically talk about how I came into it. So if you decide how, if you want to be a pilot, so you can start it from, you'll be joining as a pilot. Then you have various transitions. You'll be becoming a commander, then you'll become a line training captain, then there is a TRI, then there is a designated examiner, then there are various other profiles. So basically you keep progressing in them. So aviation as a career, for me, if you ask me, I'll tell you that it is a wonderful place. You get a lot of chance to explore a lot of like various opportunities, but everything has got a pros and cons to it. So when we fly at night, so you lose a lot of sleep. When you fly several time zones altogether, suppose if I'm flying to Sydney, I'm flying to Australia, I'll be crossing 3 4 time zones. So I'll be losing a lot of sleep, plus my sleeping pattern would also get disturbed on my layover. But you are also covered with a certain amount of FDTL, flight duty time limitations, which is decided by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. In return, the DGCA, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, they implement the FDTL, and the FDTL scheme is sent to the airlines, and the airlines are bound to follow those schemes, which are pretty humanitarian. They will give you good amount of rest at your home. They will allow you good amount of sleep, good amount of enough amount of rest before you are called for another duty. So everything has got a certain amount of yes, a certain amount of no to it. But then if aviation you're wanting to uh, look at as a career, then I would suggest it's a very good choice. And further, you can explore whatever thing you want to, and we are always there to help you out.
Thank you for answering that, Captain Ankur. And I hope, Mobin, you have got the answer of your query. And meanwhile, I have received a set of questions in the Q&A box, and I will read it out one by one. First
Yeah.
has been asked by Nikunj Patel. What qualification need to become a pilot, and physics and mathematics must needed for it or not?
Can I have the name again, please? Shilpa.
Nikunj.
Nikunj. Hi, Nikunj. This is a very basic and very important question to know once you decide to become a pilot. Yes, of course, physics and mathematics is a prerequisite for you to become a pilot.
Yeah.
That too at 10 plus 2 level. There is no minimum passing marks which is required, but it's a good thing that you have physics and mathematics at least 50%, or maybe whatever is your capability to score, of course. There is no direct implementation of physics or mathematics, but there are things which will bring into physics and mathematics, which will bring your capability of calculation, and there are certain what do you call that, formulas of Newton's and all,
Mhm.
which are implemented into aviation also. So anybody who is not having physics and mathematics at class 12 level,
Right.
they can also join aviation, provided they do physics and mathematics from a NIOS approved school, or open school basically. So it has to be an approved organization wherever you want to do your physics and mathematics, and you're good to go
Right.
for becoming a pilot.
So, Captain, as you said that the one can actually pursue additional courses in physics and mathematics, and then they can just pursue further career in this aviation industry. So, Jatin has a similar question related to this topic only. I am from humanities stream and I have mastered in it. Is there any option for candidates like me?
Of course, Jatin, you have like you said, if you're looking forward to be a pilot, then of course you will have to do the physics and mathematics first. And if you already have it at your class 12 level, then it's well and good. You don't need to do any further thing with it. But whatever masters you have, if you want to pursue with that also, you may also try to find out opportunities in ground for that. Okay, because now since you have done your masters, I believe you must be somewhere around 24, 25, or maybe 26 years of age. So mostly airlines are now hiring, the age limit is 30 years for pilots. So if you are within that and you have certain amount of years left, like maybe 4 years, 5 years, then you can opt for going for a pilot, because that'll be that's that's a course which requires certain amount of time, your patience, your hard work, and maybe the time for the vacancy to appear. So if you have that amount of time with you, then you can go for a pilot course. Otherwise, you may try to find out vacancies which suit your current professional course, or your degree master course that you have.
Captain Ankur, next up we have a question from Sarita, Nisha, and Abhay. They all have asked a similar question. पायलट कैसे बन सकते हैं 12वीं के बाद?
हाँ, दैट्स व्हाट सरिता, निशा एंड अभय, वही मैं आपको बताने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ कि मैं जैसे बना हूँ, मैं आपको खुद भी बताता हूँ कि मैं इतने छोटे से शहर से आने के बाद में आई हैव डन माय लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ लाइक lot of things you get to know, lot of things you need to learn, lot of things you need to understand. So first thing first, जिसको पायलट बनना है, तो मैं सबसे पहले सजेस्ट करता हूँ कि आप मेडिकल कराइए, बिकॉज इस फील्ड में आपको मेडिकली फिट होना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड इट्स नॉट ओनली दैट यू कैन सी योरसेल्फ कि ओके मैं मेडिकली फिट हूँ, आज मुझे बुखार नहीं, आज मुझे जुकाम नहीं. नहीं, देयर आर सर्टेन मेडिकल टेस्ट which are required to be conducted, which include at least 2 days of examinations at any medical center. Okay, and this is done by जो एयरफोर्स के रिटायर्ड डॉक्टर्स होते हैं, और प्रॉपर डेजिग्नेटेड सेंटर्स हैं, प्रॉपर डेजिग्नेटेड डॉक्टर्स हैं जो ये टेस्ट कंडक्ट कर सकते हैं. सो फर्स्टली जिसको बनना है, मैं सजेस्ट करूंगा कि आप पहले जाएं. देयर इज अ मेडिकल कॉल्ड क्लास 2 मेडिकल. सबसे पहले क्लास 2 मेडिकल आपको कराना होगा. उसके बाद में यू विल बी रजिस्टर्ड एज अ पर्सन इन डीजीसीए. योर फाइल विल गो टू डीजीसीए. आपकी जो फाइल बनेगी, आपके टेस्ट जो होंगे, वो फाइल जाएगी डीजीसीए में. फिर डीजीसीए आपको एक कंप्यूटर नंबर, पायलट नंबर अलॉट करेगा. दैट नंबर विल बी योर identity for DGCA for all your life. Then you are eligible to do class 1 medical. So class 1 medical is the criteria which is required for you to do your commercial pilot license training. क्लास 2 मेडिकल आप जब इनिशियली करते हैं, वो आपको स्टूडेंट पायलट लाइसेंस ट्रेनिंग करने की अवेलेबिलिटी, लाइक यू ओके टू डू योर स्टूडेंट पायलट लाइसेंस. जब आप क्लास 1 कर लेते हैं, तो आपकी एलिजिबिलिटी बन जाती है कमर्शियल पायलट लाइसेंस लेने की. तो मैं सबसे पहले आपको ये सजेस्ट करूंगा कि आप क्लास 2 मेडिकल करिए. यू कैन फाइंड आउट द डिटेल्स ऑन डीजीसीए की वेबसाइट, डायरेक्टरेट जनरल ऑफ सिविल एविएशन. आप गूगल में लिखेंगे, और मे बी आई थिंक शिक्षा पर भी होगा, और मेरे भी कुछ आर्टिकल्स में मैंने मेंशन किया हुआ है. सो यू कैन फाइंड आउट द लिंक फॉर डीजीसीए, यू कैन फाइंड आउट द डॉक्टर्स देयर. आप अपना क्लास 2 मेडिकल कराइए. उसके बाद में आप फर्दर में, तो those doctors already they guide you, and if there is any assistance that you need, anything on further, then you can connect to either them or me or the platforms. फिर हम तो हैं ही.
Ankur, with this, I just want to ask a follow-up question on what you said. So, many questions are related to how we can become pilot. You have already cleared it. But, do we need to give any sort of entrance examination for to just be in this industry, or to be a pilot particularly?
So medical is your first entrance examination. Okay, it's not an examination wherein you have to fill in a form or go to some institute, but then it is sort of a medical examination, because everybody, all the people who are there, who are here, I would like to tell you that I have seen cases wherein people do flying. जब वो maybe 50 hours 100 hours की flying कर लेते हैं, और उसके बाद वो अपना class 1 medical कराते हैं, और उसमें कोई permanent medical ऐसी situation होती है जिसकी वजह से वो ground हो जाते हैं, और फिर वो दोबारा कभी pilot की training नहीं कर सकते. And flying is an expensive affair. आपको पैसे खर्च करने पड़ेंगे for every hour of flying that you do. Spend money, and it's an hard money. And या तो आप लोन लेंगे या फिर आप अपने पेरेंट्स के जो सेविंग्स हैं आप उनसे करेंगे। तो पहला पहला एग्जामिनेशन आपका मेडिकल है। उसके अलावा देर आर फ्लाइंग स्कूल्स हु लाइक जो कुछ कुछ फ्लाइंग स्कूल्स हैं जो स्कॉलरशिप्स अलाउ करते हैं। तो बहुत मार्जिनल होती हैं स्कॉलरशिप्स, हालांकि बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होता उसका अमाउंट, लेकिन उसके लिए वो एक एग्जाम कंडक्ट कराते हैं। सो इट्स बेसिकली क्लास 12 बेसिस एग्जामिनेशन, रीजनिंग, इंग्लिश एंड ऑल दिस टाइप का एग्जामिनेशन होता है, जो आई थिंक आप थोड़ा बहुत 1-2 महीने प्रैक्टिस करने के बाद आप उसे कर सकते हैं। एंड देयर इज अ स्कूल विच इज कॉल्ड इंदिरा गांधी राष्ट्रीय उड़ान अकेडमी। दिस इज इन रायबरेली. So this is the only government aided school wherein they have entrance examination and then you get admission. Otherwise, mostly flying schools may you get admission via after an interview, or maybe a very small, or maybe at some places there is no examination also.
Okay, and with this, I'll take a few more questions.
Yeah, sure.
Is it good to start at the age of 30? If yes, then which country is best for CPL, India or outside?
So Shilpa, like I've already told you that 30 years is now the new limit. I've seen otherwise people जो जिन्होंने पहले किया है 30 के बाद भी उनको जॉब्स मिले हैं, बट फॉर नाउ many airlines have come down to this cutoff age of 30 years. So if you are 30, or if you're approaching 30, or if you've crossed 30, I would rather advise you to not to get into pilot training, because this is something which would require you a lot of amount of money expenditure, and you may not find a proper opportunity for yourself. You may although explore opportunities in ground, and those opportunities would allow you above 30 also.
Again, I have a follow-up question, but I will ask you after this question. Amit Sahu is asking, does medical also required for air hostess or steward too? Any idea about it?
Hi Amit, I think you just texted me on LinkedIn also. So medical is required for air hostesses also, but then it is a company medical. It is not a medical which is done by the DGCA doctors or by any Air Force doctors. So once your sister or the or जिसके लिए भी आप बात कर रहे हैं, वो जब ज्वाइन कर लेंगे किसी एयरलाइन को, तो उस ज्वाइन करने के प्रोसेस में देयर विल बी अ मेडिकल रिक्वायरमेंट, जो कंपनी ही बताएगी आपको कि क्या क्या टेस्ट की रिक्वायरमेंट है, एंड दोस टेस्ट will be done by you, and you'll submit a report to the company, and the doctor will assess the report and will allow you if the reports are fine.
Next up, we have a question from Riddhi Rajdhar. And the question is, good evening, sir. I have completed my BTech this year and also have got my computer number from DGCA recently. Should I go for my class 1 medical?
Very nice, Riddhi. Congratulations for your computer number. This is actually first step that you have already done. And like I already said earlier, अगर आप थे रिद्धि पहले, तो आपने सुना होगा कि क्लास 2 आपको पहले करना है। तो क्लास 2 आपने कर लिया है, आई एम श्योर आपका पास भी हो गया है। तो प्लीज टेक एन अपॉइंटमेंट फॉर क्लास 1 एट एनी डेजिग्नेटेड सेंटर, एंड देन यू कैन गो फॉर योर क्लास 1। एंड आई वुड सजेस्ट कि पहले आप क्लास 1 कर लो, उसके बाद आप फ्लाइंग के लिए जाना, या जो भी आप मतलब फ्लाइंग या पढ़ाई जो भी आप पहले स्टार्ट करना चाहते हैं।
Next up, Harsha is asking, after class 12, what should I do to become a pilot? Harsha, sir has already discussed about it. So what we will do, we will upload this video on Shiksha official YouTube channel. So there you can just check this video and go through all the pointers sir is just sharing here. And meanwhile, if you have further questions, then feel free to post either in the comment section or in the Q&A box. And with this, I'm taking up another question. What are the skill sets required to be a pilot?
Okay, so Shilpa, I guess we've already answered that too also within the skill sets. Okay, let's talk about class 12. So you just need to be a class 12 student. You have to pass, you have to clear your class 12 with physics and mathematics. That is the basic and most important requirement. And yeah, there are places where people do a psychometry test also. You might have seen, or you might have heard, or you might have read, after certain accidents into aviation, they are brought into this psychometry test, that how a person is at the brain. So you may get a psychometry test, and there are various centers outside also. You may try doing them, and there are various websites available online which allow a free psychometry also. So you may try that. That's the only requirement. Nothing much to it.
Thank you for answering that, Captain. And next up, many people are just asking about how to be a pilot. It feels that pilot is the most wanted post for the people in the field of aviation.
Most wanted, yeah.
This is what I can say.
Hmm,
But there are the other positions too. When we just sit inside the aircraft, we see other people
hmm,
on the ground. They are just close to the airplanes. They just, analyze the everything and they just let us fly. They let us fly safely. So,
exactly.
yeah, if you could just tell us about the different posts and their criterias, that would help us to understand this
Right.
industry better.
Right. So that's a very nice topic to discuss, Shilpa. So when you see as a pilot, we are invisible to a passenger. You don't see us. Mostly you don't see us. You see us when we get out of the aircraft or when we are getting from the gate and going inside the airplane. And then the cockpit is locked. The face of the airline is the cabin crew, the person who attends you throughout the flight, a 12-hour, 13-hour, 14-hour, 15-hour flight. The person who attends you throughout the flight, that is the face of the airline. So cabin crew are the person who will take care of you. They are very well trained in the major medical emergencies that might happen on board. It may be a pregnant lady जिसका maybe water broke and she wants the baby might get delivered. There may be a death on board. There may be a person who requires जिसको heart में कुछ problem है. There is somebody who requires any other sort of thing. So these people are very well trained for all these things. And when an aircraft comes to a situation wherein an incident or accident might happen, so then also these people plus also us are trained in helping a proper ditching to happen to evacuate the airplane. So it is also equally important to have a very good trained cabin crew on your flight to conduct a very safe and happy flight. Apart from cabin crew, there are people who work on ground. So to fly an airplane, the airplane has to be airworthy. By airworthy, I mean the airplane has to be safe to fly. So the ground engineers who work on ground, the AME staff we call them, the AME staff is responsible to check the aircraft on various parameters before the aircraft is dispatched to go to any destination. And now, when I call about dispatch, we have dispatchers who plan the flight plan. So, as a pilot, when I go to my office, when I go to my the airport, the dispatch office, there are certain set of papers which are available, or maybe there are certain sets of emails or soft copies which are available to me, available to me. So these papers help me to find out what is my route, what is my level to fly, what is the situation of my aircraft, and what is the weather condition like, what is my destination, what is my alternates. So ये dispatchers काम करते हैं. उसके अलावा there are a lot of people. जब आप अपना बैग काउंटर पर छोड़ देते हैं, चेक इन में आप डाल देते हैं, there are a lot of people who work behind the scene आपके बैग को उस बैगेज बेल्ट से लेकर के आपको जहाज तक पहुंचाने तक, और उस जहाज से वापस आपके डेस्टिनेशन पर वापस बेल्ट पर जब आप कलेक्ट करते हैं. So it's a loading and handling agents. Then the ticket that you got prepared, the customer service agents, they also work. So there are various profiles, और सारे लोग एक साथ काम करके they bring in, they work in harmony to get this thing happen safely. Then of course there are airport staff which are not associated to airline, but you have the CISF security, which assess all the situation if everything is safe and worthy to enter an aircraft. So I think most of them have covered, Shilpa. And if there's anything that anybody wants to ask in specific, you may tell me.
Certainly, we have a set of questions and only 5 minutes left to wind up this session for today. And
Yeah.
considering the time we have, I'll just take a minute to inform everybody that I have just launched a poll. You can just have a look at it, and I would request you all to please fill it. so that we can understand and we can bring more such webinar to you people. First question, you are liking this session or not? You can answer it in a yes or no. And the second question, you can rate this Shiksha session from 1 to 10. 1 is being the lowest and 10 being the highest. And I request you all to please poll. And with this, I'm taking up next question. Harshvardhan has a question. Please advise me how to become aircraft dispatcher.
Hi, Harshvardhan. Like I've already told you that dispatchers play a very important role for us to conduct a flight from the very beginning, the very first papers about the flight, the navigation route, and all those things. So there are various academies, there are various institutions which provide you training for the subjects which are required for a person to become a ground dispatcher. And the ground dispatcher also holds a license, like we hold a license for commercial pilot and airline transport pilot license. Ground dispatcher also holds a license for the radio and for the for dispatching an aircraft. So that's called a dispatcher's license. And there are various centers who conduct classes for this. You may connect to me, basically, maybe after the session or maybe through any other platform, or you may connect via Shilpa to any of the other available mentors on Shiksha. I believe they'll be able to help you better with that. And you'll have to, like, there are basic subjects like navigation and metrology and basic studies about the aircrafts. And the study is a bit more than becoming a pilot, because you work harder, they work harder than on the ground before the flight is dispatched. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you. And Anushka Rastogi, and okay, ma'am, please ask my question. Okay, sure, I'll ask your question. I have to ask that after bachelor's degree, how can we just go for pilot or how to become pilot? Though sir has already answered it, but let's see if Captain Ankur can add more
Let
information.
me, yeah, Shilpa, I'll just like to take up that because see, now that you have done bachelor's, so you have a degree, and this is good for you because some airlines, while hiring, they give you some additional points also, but that's not too much. So don't take it as a very big advantage for yourself. They give some additional points to you, but then you have to have a physics and mathematics at class 12 level. So if you have at your class 12 level physics and mathematics, then you're good to do the training. Plus, also make a note that you're well within 30 years of age, so that you can finish your training and get into a job before if you touch the figure of 30.
Rest, we have question related to air hostess. Should I take this, Captain Ankur?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
please.
It's
Maybe if I
yeah,
might,
it
I'll
is.
say.
Is it important to go for air hostess training, or how one should just proceed for it?
So yeah, see, like I told you, this industry is a bit on a more expensive side. It's like expensive as in basically you end up spending uh, a huge amount of money in less amount of time. It's like that basically. Otherwise, even if you go for your MBBS, you also spend a good amount of money there. Or आप IIM से अगर आप MBA कर रहे हैं तो there also you spend amount of money. But then similar amount of money you spend here, but you spend in less duration. So that's what people have made. A lot of places are there wherein you are groomed how an air hostess should look. Grooming basically, ये जो institutes हैं, they allow you for a better grooming for an interview. But ऐसा नहीं है कि आप अगर ये ट्रेनिंग नहीं करेंगे तो आपको जॉब नहीं मिलेगा, because no company, no airline will ask you for a certification or a training or a diploma or whatever these guys provide कि आप वो करके आइए तभी हम आपको लेंगे. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. If you are hospitable, if you are presentable, mm, if you do good in your interview, then I believe you'll be good to go.
Okay, and with this, we need to just wind up this session for today. And thank you, Captain Ankur, for being with us and sharing all the information about aviation industry.
Thank you so much, Shilpa. Thanks a lot, and thank you everyone who was here to make this session happen.
And thank you, people, for being with us. I hope we answered all your queries. And with this, I'm Shilpa signing off. Till then, take care and keep dreaming high, and Happy New Year.